It is Sunday night, and it's time for another live stream. I hope you are all safe and well. Could someone let me know if the audio is working properly? I've had to make another little change this week, and I think you should be hearing me through this microphone. I had to move things around to make my life a little bit easier in the editing, and I wasn't sure which mic was which. So in theory, if I do this, you shouldn't hear anything. That shouldn't be coming through to you as far as I'm aware, and you should be hearing off this one. So, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to the live stream. Now, I'm going to try and get through tonight. I have a problem with my voice. I've not been very well this week, actually. It's just been one of those weeks, and the health decided to bite me middle of the week, and it's just been a bit of a rough one again. But I am alive and well. I'm not dead, which is always a bonus, but the voice is a bit rough, to say the least. And I've had some mouth problems is the term I'll use, but every time I'm a person that, like, when I get ill, I tend to get like 8 ulcers to the point where I can barely talk, and I end up like this, and my mouth fills with copious amounts of saliva, which is a lovely thought, I know, but it gets to the stage where I really struggle. And actually, for those eagle-eyed ears, the first video I recorded this week I did on yesterday. I recorded it yesterday. I don't think I did it Friday. I might have done it Friday night when I was able to talk half properly. Yeah, ulcers, mouth ulcers, I tend to get a lot. And the real frustration is I don't get like 1, I get like 5 or 8. And it's just, it just causes me so many problems. It really does. And it's usually the case when I get ill or I'm run down or something like that. And I can barely talk. And it is. So that's why I've been quieter this week. And as always, YouTube gave me the privilege of reminding me of what happens if I don't post content. And you guys won't see this, but YouTube is really good motivating you to feel good when you're ill or you've not made any content because, you know, you've been doing more important things. And let me just find a screenshot of this. But YouTube it is like having the best boss in the world. It really is, because I put the screenshots on my Discord server. I did. Here we go. So, you know, when you're not feeling well, what YouTube does is go, you know what? We're going to remind you that you haven't published much content and it's contributing to 20% less views on your channel than usual. So not only are you not feeling very well, I'm going to give you a kick in the balls at the same time. And then what I also found was interesting was this stat that YouTube had the privilege of giving me as well, is I've published 1 video instead of the 23 that I usually publish, leading to fewer views. I don't remember publishing 23 videos a week. And I've just noticed that I don't have NVIDIA turned on. Is this going to work? That'd be a no. Ooh, something appeared in the corner. Oh, look at that. NVIDIA's working well. Let's go back to the desktop on that one. What's it called? I forgot what it's called. NVIDIA Broadcast. So YouTube is really good at just making you feel good when you're having a bad week. And it's very proactive at telling you how everything you're doing is causing problems on your channel. Let me just hop back to the desktop a moment. Ah, there we go. That's better. That's fine. Okay, so that's NVIDIA's broadcast is fixed. Sorted. So that's the reason I haven't made as much content this week, just because I've been bad. So, however, the good news is there's probably 7 or 8 videos stacked up, ready to go. And these are not reviews. These are not things. They're actually, I've tried for the last week, couple of days to put together 4 or 5 sort of educational content videos more than anything else. So some of this won't suit everyone who knows what they're doing, but we've got a big one coming on DJI tomorrow, which is the complete firmware guide to the current situation with DJI O3 and the FPV and air units, because I've covered this before in a separate video and I've covered it in multiple videos. But I still see a lot of questions around, around this bloody version 01.02.0000 compared to 01.01.006, sorry, 0606, 0607, 0608. There's just so much confusion around this. So I've tried to put together what I think is just a one-stop of the situation with nice images showing you the versions, showing you what the situation is, what firmware you need to use. Oh, a fly's just made it into the fly zapper. And hopefully that will just help people. There's a second video behind that coming on OSD for O3, because again, another one I see a lot of questions on is auto record and OSD. So why doesn't auto record work? And it is a feature that's really buried in the O3 system. It's hidden under the advanced camera settings. People don't see it's there, although you can't have auto record with the normal air unit or the Vista on the O3 goggles too. And then there's a third video, which I'm going to finish later, actually, after I finish this stream, which is, it's one I did before. And this is a subject that I cover in a video on my channel, actually. And it's on this video here. Let me just show you this, because this is a video it's had reasonable views, but the issue in it seems to have gone largely, ooh, sorry, that was playing, largely unnoticed. And if I just go back to the desktop, it's this video here, the complete DJI O3 guide. And this video is a great video. And I'm saying that myself as the person who made it. But what this video has is chapter marks, and it has everything for O3. This is the complete one-stop guide for O3, this video. You've got power requirements, USB power, wiring harness, power on issues on arming, power summary, binding the goggles requirements, the binding process, the wiring for the flight controller. And then in here is this little section here about MSP OSD issues. And there is a common issue in all of the setups that if there's a problem with the TX line from the O3 to the RX on the flight controller, you can get the OSD working, but you won't be able to arm, you won't be able to auto-record, and you won't have the battery voltage showing at the bottom. But you will get OSD working with Betaflight. So you'll get the Betaflight OSD, but you won't get the other OSD. And this is another one I see posted regularly. People saying, I have OSD, but it's not auto recording, it's not arming, it's not doing this. And that is generally, there's a problem with the TX from O3 to the RX on the flight controller. And that's either you're on the wrong UART, you know, sometimes people get these things mixed up, or that UART you're using isn't playing ball and you should try another UART. But it is one that is buried in here. And if I actually just show you what happens on this, because it's a real interesting issue, actually. And if I just put this up on the desktop and put this full screen, this is a super odd and interesting behavior that you may not realize happens. Is this going to play ball in 4K? So if you look at this here, and I'm just going to mute it because we don't need audio. But if I show you this here, so, and I'm going to play, what you have is the Betaflight OSD working. So you can see we're getting voltages on Betaflight OSD. You can see the throttle is working absolutely fine. but you don't get voltage down here. You will see in a minute I arm, and you will see the armed flag appear in Betaflight OSD, and it will say armed, but it will not leave the low power state. Just wait for that now. You'll see it in a second. There's talking over this. There we go. You can see I armed, but it hasn't left the low power state. And this is specifically caused by the TX line from the flight control, from the O3, not communicating with the RX on the flight controller. So it's a quirk issue. So there is a video coming on that as well, because it does warrant it. It's a good one. So we've got those coming. And there probably will be some review stuff this week. It's actually been a bit of a quieter week. Interestingly, there's been some stuff showing. I've got a couple of products. I don't know what I can talk about and what I can't. There's a new bind and fly quad coming, but I'm not going to say who that's by, just in case I get myself into trouble. And yeah, that's about it. It's a bit quieter at the moment. Oh, there is some other stuff coming as well, which I can't talk about. Nothing major. You know, don't get too excited. There's not a new FPV system coming. But yeah, there's a lot of little stuff bubbling along. So that's the situation. Now, I'm just going to catch up on the chat, because I didn't really start with the chat tonight, and I usually do. And I got into this a bit more. So I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat. Hello, Welsh FPV. There is a Discord server. It is free, as someone has already told you that. Come along, say hello. I really don't understand why we can't have auto record with the Vista on the goggles too. No, it's DJI. It is entirely DJI. And actually, I go on to say in this video that's going to go live tomorrow is DJI have basically half-baked that backwards compatibility, because they say in the firmware release notes, because you can't record on the ear unit, the full size, and you don't have auto record. And they sort of say you can't currently, which sort of implies there's new firmware coming. Yet, we're not likely to see it. I don't know if we'll ever get it now. So, we've got that. Just catching back up on the chat. Hello, Robert Nelson. How are you? Hi, everyone. Loving Mad on a Sunday. TK, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Edward, thank you for the audio check. I appreciate AVI. Physics, how are you? Good. Thank you for that, mate. Hello. Talk Spill the Beans. Let us know about the new A3. I don't know anything about that. Look, come on. If you're coming to this stream, you must know that DJI don't work with me. Now, that might have been to do with the fact that I've probably said fuck DJI and the horse you rode in on at least 4 or 5 times on this stream. Might be something to do with that. But fuck DJI. Anyway. Still make good products, though. So if you're coming here for insider info on DJI products in this day and age, no. Yeah, you're in the wrong place, I'm afraid. But one of the other paid influencers will tell you everything that DJI wants you to know. And I don't class Dobo in that circle, just before anyone gets upset. But yes, one of their other paid influencers who is going to tell you about all its new features and capabilities, but probably forget to tell you about all of the stuff that doesn't work today, that's missing, and the big glaring stupid thing that they did. Because there's always a big glaring stupid thing that DJI did with every release. You couldn't have a DJI release without a big glaring stupid thing. I thought I walked into Bot Grinder's stream then. No, I do reserve my special greeting for DJI as a corporate entity. And there are many great people at DJI. But that's my feeling towards... Although I'm more than open to them talking to me. If they'd actually talk to me, I wouldn't have to keep swearing at them. That's the reality. But, anywho... No. So E3, E3 looks interesting. I will say a bit on that, which I think I've been watching the Inspire 3 launch very closely because, like, I used to make a lot. I can openly say I have probably made more content on the Inspire than any other creator. Period. I am comfortable in saying that. I will be shocked if there is a creator who has made more content on the Inspire series than me. I promise you. I had the first video on Syndents, the first videos on Crystal Sky, all of the videos on the Inspire 1, Inspire 2. Yeah, so I have been watching the Inspire 3 launch. I don't see anything exciting here. It's all a bit meh. I would love to try it. I would absolutely love to try it. But I'm not excited for that quad. I am leaning very heavily on considering getting either a Mavic 3 Pro or a Mini 3 Pro. I haven't made my mind up. I could be tempted, though, on an A3S if it existed and if it still has the 1-inch sensor. I do think that 1-inch sensor is the sweet spot, and it does fit a very nice position in the market, but I'm going to wait. I am going to sell my Inspire 2. I am going to sell my Mavic 2 Pro. They're both going to go. They don't get any use much anymore. I don't do any commercial work now, but I am going to probably get them, but I'm going to wait and see. I'm holding back to see. I might actually get the A3, and I might actually do a full-on review at launch, an independent review. I will say this, and there's something super interesting, actually, and I want to make a video on this because no one else makes this kind of content. And I do want to do a real deep dive into the difference between the RC Pro and the DJI RC. Now, yes, there are people out there who have tried them, and here's the crazy thing. And if you don't know, I should bring up the DJI's website on this because it's worth understanding the differences here. So let me just go to the Mavic 3 Pro page because, and I'm not going to stay on this stuff for too long for those who are here for the FPV, don't worry. But there is something interesting I want to just mention on this, and that really is about these two RCs, because DJI have two remotes available for their drones at the moment, okay? So what we have is the DJI RC, right, which is this one here, okay? This costs £255, okay? I could put it in dollars, but we're going to stay with pounds for this one, okay? For the US, okay, let's do it in US. Let's do it in rubber money. $309. Okay, so that is $309. Okay, that's cheap. However, if you then price the RC Pro, now the RC Pro is available for this quad. So look here, it is $309 versus $1,199. That price difference is over $800 difference between these two remotes. Okay, $800. That is insane. Now, I've done a lot of digging into the background between them, the teardowns, the FCC details, the understanding what the technical differences are, and there is a lot that is different between them. The whole RF front end is different. So it does a two-chain RF front end instead of 4. So, for instance, if you think of O3 goggles, the goggles 2, the V2s, we have 4 antennas. DJI traditionally do that on their remotes as well. You have 4, whereas there's only 2 on the basic RC. It has a much cheaper implementation of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And what I mean by that is they've moved that all onto the main PCB. There's a PCB antenna for the Wi-Fi, whereas on the RC Pro, there's a wire antenna, a separate wire antenna. They've massively reduced the BOM. It's slightly cheaper gimbals, cheaper screen, and the overall onboard processing and RF front end is completely different as well. They're not using the P1 chipset. They're using the S1 and offloading it with a Snapdragon processor. But what's really interesting in all of this is that the overall user experience from everyone who I have talked to with that DJI RC, they all tell me it's bloody fantastic. And there is, for the front-end user, literally no good reason to buy the RC Pro unless you have to have that HDMI output. Unless you have to. It's that simple. It really is that simple. And yeah, it's super interesting. It really, really is super interesting. And look, there is limitations on that RC. If I'm right in what we understand, let me just get to the spec on the Mavic 3, because with that remote, it should be limited to 20 megahertz bandwidth instead of 40. So if I just go back and show you this. So because it's got a single RF front end and it's using the S chipset, right, it should be limited to, if we go to the specs, it shouldn't be able to do 40 megs on O3. It should only be able to do 20. But even then, so if we go down to the video system, video transmission. So here we go. So let me just make this a bit bigger. So what we should have is bandwidth. So here we go. Here's where it gets interesting. So if you look, max download speed, okay, and this is the O3 Plus. So what they're doing is with the RCN1, it's 5 megabits a second. 5.5 as well on the DJI RC, because both of these are using the S1 chipset and offloading the processing into the Snapdragon, and you can get 15 megabits a second with the RC Pro because it's running the full RF front end. So in theory, the RC Pro will have a better live feed, but how much better it will be, I don't know. And everyone tells me it's just better. It is just, it's good enough. And it's great to see, because the Crystal Sky was crap. The Crystal Sky, I got reviews on it. It did a good job for what it was, but it was limited from day one. But yeah, I am really interested. And we have learned something. One last thing on this I'm going to talk about. Something I have learned today that is super interesting on the Mavic 3 series, and that is that it appears to be the case that from a hardware point of view and processing point of view, there is no difference between the Mavic 3, the Mavic 3 Cine, the Pro, and the Classic. Now, what I mean by this is this. All of the models have all of the image processing hardware on board for either the SD card recording or the SSD. The only difference between the Cine and the standard model is that they add the SSD. What they don't add is any additional processing. So here's something that is ridiculously interesting, is in theory, DJI could offer ProRes recording to the SD card, because the ProRes is as I've been sort of hinted at, it is a module, a software module they run on board the OS. There isn't any additional hardware needed to do it. Now, this also explains something that I said in my Mavic 3 review, because I loaned one for review, and I said that there was very little difference between the ProRes recording on the SSD and the standard H.264 or H.265 recording on the SD card. And what I wasn't seeing in that quad was the benefit of the ProRes. You were seeing some improvement in low light. Yes. But overall, there was no real more extra detail and no benefit to the ProRes. All you were getting was it in the codec you need right away. And that completely explains, or that now I know why, when we look at the processing hardware, it's the same pipeline. And DJI are just splitting it left and right depending on software and not hardware. And what I would say is the ProRes in the Mavic 3 Cine isn't really proper ProRes, or it's at least limited by the way they've implemented the hardware. But it is super interesting. The only difference is they add the connector on the board and the SSD. The only difference. So, anyway, that's enough on the consumer drones. Right, I'm going to come on to the super chat in a minute because it's been a super chat for $5. I want to say thank you to RW for that. There's no question on that, but I have seen he's put a question up, so I will answer that now in a moment. Okay, Rook FPV, just ordered the Mini 3 Pro. Congrats, mate. Sean, very nice. New camera is great. Flight time rather shorter than would like. Are you talking about on the Pro, Sean? On the new Pro? Have you got the new Pro? If you have, I hate you. Controller Crew did quite an interesting video with the Inspire 3. I've not seen it yet. What's with the DJI O3 warranty issues? We will talk about that next. Mini 3 Pro, love mine. Mini would be a good product if it wasn't produced by a crap, I'll use the word crap company. They are really good at their consumer drones, to be fair. Are we talking about the i3? Magazine had sent one to it. I'm taking it out again next week. Brandon Bean's very nice. I need to use the... What kind... how does it transmit 4K and the FPV feed in 1080p at the same time? The 4K feed is broadcast quality. How does it transmit 1080p at the same time? I don't quite get that. Oh, sorry, the Inspire 3. RC is very good for the price. It really is that simple t-shirt. I like that. RW, thanks for this today. Can I ask, I may go for DJI Mavic 3 thermal drone. I don't want to make investment if there's rumblings about a new improved version in the future. Look, there probably won't be a new Mavic 3, especially the thermal ones, for another year plus. They're RW, they're industrial line. You're not going to see a replacement for the Mavic 3 Enterprise anytime soon. The Pro has proved... I fundamentally think the Mavic 3 was a flop. The original Mavic 3 and then the Mavic 3 Cine was a complete flop. They got that craft wrong. That's why you then saw the Classic, and that's now why you've seen the Pro. If you notice in all of these, the body, the chassis has not changed. The tooling has largely not changed. What they've had to retool is the camera module, but that is the overall cheapest or easiest bit to do. DJI got the Mavic 3 really wrong at the start. I think today, the Pro is the Mavic 3 it always should have been. It's the craft it should have always been. But I think that's why they've had to redo it all, because it's just not sold well enough. And DJI have cannibalized their own market. You know, look, the A2S is still today one of the best bang for buck drones you can get. 1-inch sensor, great image quality. What are they going to do with the A3? If they stick with 1-inch, great. But, you know, I don't know how they're going to improve that aircraft. ProRes, that's not Brandon. Yeah, you're on about the Inspire 3. I was talking about the Mavic 3 with ProRes on the Cine. Why would you space 16 quite? Yeah, no, Brandon, I'm talking about the Mavic 3. The Cine has the same hardware on the Mavic 3. i3 played with it this week. Very nice. Hello, I'm currently getting HDZero goggles, and I'm going to be using them with HDZero Whoop, and I'm thinking between the doing freestyle on HDZero, Walksnail, VRX, and DJI goggles too. What's your opinion? Let me just reread that. So, before we go on to the DJI stuff, hello, I'm currently getting the HDZero goggles, and I'm going to be using them with HDZero Whoop, but I'm thinking between doing freestyle on HDZero, Walksnail, and DJI V2 goggles. What's my opinion? If you're going in for HDZero, if you want more image quality and you're thinking between Avatar and DJI, just go Avatar, because you can get the VRX module for the goggles really cheap. The VTXs are cheaper, and you'll be more than happy with the overall freestyle performance. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. If you want the very best image quality, it's got to be O3. But that's it. But O3 really isn't designed for freestyle. I still fundamentally think O3 is not for freestyle. The camera is not ideal. Non-replaceable lens, non-standard lens. You break it, it's $90, 90 quid. Scott Aero, how are you? Hope you're well. I would go with Avatar. Get a VRX manager on Avatar. What can you do with the Avatar system? You've got the VTXs. It's basically like DJI. You can record. It's got image stabilization, but it's not very good in the sense of the image quality isn't really O3 standard. But it'll give you low latency mode. It'll give you two-way link, which will give you that compression style of thing. But then again, you may be more than happy with HDZero for freestyle. So, yeah. See how you get on with the HDZero is what I would say. None of the other two will even come close on latency. The cam is just terrible on O3 for replacement. You know, and it's not got the greatest dynamic range. For long range, what do I think will go further? DJI O3 or Walksnail? Walksnail, period. Because Walksnail has no limit. And in fact, there is, let me just find this. This was posted on my Discord. Let me just get that there. Oh, I got something on my Discord as well. Someone's thinged me in something. Welsh FPV's ended up in the Discord. I'll send him some abuse later. The bot will, Ian Mad, the bot will say hi, Sue. He come. Yeah, I can't repeat what the bot said earlier. But yeah, I saw earlier there was a picture of Avatar HD shared on my Discord. Let me just find it. And it was like crazy range. I've lost it. I'm sure it was on my Discord. Might have been on someone else's. Was it on HDZero? No, it wasn't HDZero. It might be on the main page. Let me go on the main page. Was it up here? Someone did some big range. Big range. Oh, I've lost it. It's got to be here somewhere. It's got to be here somewhere. But Avatar HD, because it doesn't have a limit. No limit. No restriction on how far it can go. Do you love it when you see something and you think, oh, that's cool, I'll share that, and it goes. 50 kilometer. Ian F, was it PTE's Facebook page? 50 kilometers. That was it. It was a huge, huge range. Should we have a look? Let's have a look. Before we come on to the DJI O3 nonsense. So it's PTE. Here we go. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole video, but this gentleman has done 50 kilometers on O3. You want to go check this out? PTE. Look at that setup. That man is a legend. That man is a hero, is what that man is. Look at that. So he's got Express ELRS at the top there, look. So he's got 2 patches. Let me just come back to the front to see what he's done. So he's got the stock antennas. So what he's got here is a TX on that patch and RX on that patch, because that's the TX port. Unless he's changed it, that's the TX port. Yeah, that's crazy. He's at 10 kilometers. I'm not going to play the whole video, but if we go 43, 52 kilometers. There you go. You won't get that on DJI. You will not get that on DJI. Period. Because you're limited to 23.4 kilometers on O3 and about 30 kilometers on O3 with the air units. So that is a hell of a... That is a hell of a run. A hell of a run. O3 works great for freestyle. Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just the cameras are not ideal. If DJI want to get serious about freestyle, we need separate cameras which have traditional lenses. Okay. So the next subject I want to talk about very quickly is I'm hearing more problems with people getting warranty on DJI O3 air units. Now, just to quickly recap on this, I've put a video out talking about O3 warranty specifically on bind and fly drones, such as the iFlight models and any bind and fly model made in China. And the reason I've had this before is very simple. DJI's warranty policy is that they will only warrant a product in its original country of origin. And what I mean by that is not the country you bought it in, not the country you activated it in, the country DJI shipped that product to. So when DJI make any product, they have it, okay, that's for the UK, that's for the US, that's for China. They know by serial number. So they'll go, oh, that batch of serial numbers is for the UK. They go to UK dealers, or they're sold via the DJI store in the UK, and you get warranty in the UK. But if you were to go online on Banggood, AliExpress, and buy, say, a DJI Mavic Mini or an O3 air unit and ship it to the UK, your warranty will not be valid in the UK, and DJI will actually ask you to ship the Mavic Mini 3 or air unit back to China at your own cost, or they may refuse the warranty. DJI do not offer a global warranty. It is based on their original country of origin. Now, this has crept up as being a bit of an issue with bind and flies, because you can have the likes of iFlight making a drone in China. They're buying their air units from DJI in China, shipping them all over the world, and then when people have a problem with those air units, DJI are basically saying, we're not interested, go talk to the person who made it. Now, in my video I talked about this. I did say the only proviso to this would probably be a very small bind and fly builder, so the likes of Rotor Riot in the USA, Get FPV, these companies who make bind and flies themselves, they're most likely going to be going to their stock shelf, pulling off an O3 air unit and using that, and that would have been an air unit that they've bought through their official DJI channels, which was destined for that country. So just to give you an example again, Rotor Riot, who make a lot of aircraft, they'll be getting the motors and all of that, put in the aircraft together, but that air unit would have been, bought in to either sell to a customer. They won't be buying in separate units. They won't be getting OEM ones. They will just be getting O3 air units in a box, just like any other retailer. However, I do need to add, whilst I've turned around and said Rotor Riot give you that option, Rotor Riot offer 0 warranty on their bind and fly drones, which I think is crap, although they do say that if there is an issue, they will try to sort it out. But I still think it's a bit poor. Anyways, so this was a problem with bind and flies. However, I am starting to get rumblings of people having issues buying O3 air units through dealers and dealers in the UK. Now, this may be a result of one or two things. That is, either that dealer isn't an official dealer for DJI and they might be buying the air units through a supplier who's getting them in China, or DJI are getting very punchy. The real issue here, more than anything, actually, is DJI's warranty policy, because I think it's really starting to cause some problems. And really, it shouldn't matter where you bought the component like the O3 air unit. I do get it why they do this on their drones, because what they want to do is, A, offer some protection to their dealer network. So rather than, you know, big Chinese black market resellers selling thousands of these drones out of China to the US and the UK and Europe, they want to make sure people are doing that and buying from the UK or wherever they're destined. However, when we start getting problems with people buying products through retail premises in the UK or Europe or America and having problems, then this is an issue. So I am starting to think DJI need to sort their warranty issues out. And they cannot just keep playing this game of denying. Now, DJI do have a really good warranty policy. I have to say, it would be unfair to me to not say in the last sort of 5 years, they have dramatically improved their warranty service. It is one of the best in the industry, period. Genuinely. You will see posts every day of the week of people sending back a Mavic in a bag and DJI sending them a new aircraft. DJI reaching out and saying, look, we saw your crash. Let's have a look at it. DJI do a lot of good stuff with warranty these days. They used to be horrific. But today, they are so big, they do a good job. But turning users down for this, you know, out-of-country BS is beginning to become a problem. So just be careful where you're buying your air units is what I would say. If you're buying your air units from... If you're buying it from a shop or a dealer, make sure they're an official DJI dealer. Look on the DJI website. Are they listed? DJI, I think, do show their dealers. Or, if you're not sure, just order one from the DJI store. You'll be covered. What I'm a little unknown about, and what I don't quite understand, is why so many people are starting to have issues with these O3 air units. Because they're like bomb-proof. There has been people reporting OSD issues. There's people reporting camera issues. I don't know if there's like a bad batch of them have gone out or something, but they have been particularly bomb-proof until now. It's a weird situation. It's weird. But just be careful where you're buying your air units. And if you were to buy out of the official origin country, DJI are going to say, sorry, either send it to that country or actually we're not going to cover it at all. But I don't like seeing reports of people getting stiffed. Now, if you're in the UK or Europe, you're covered by consumer laws. And frankly, it is the retailer's problem to fix. It is the retailer's issue to put right. Just catching up on the chat. Hello, Wes. I hope you're well. Mr. Varty. Interesting. 57. Though my buddy Mo had a 4-minute O3 blackout on a rescue yesterday after getting 7.33 kilometers. O3 is known to be really poor image recovery on loss. It is really poor. And in fact, I know someone who was talking to DJI about it, although I'm not convinced DJI are going to do anything about it, knowing DJI the way I know DJI. I'm not saying the person who was talking to the person wasn't telling the truth, and I think because that person's in the chat and he's an amazing person. Look, when you're talking to DJI, you've got to really talk to the right people, and the marketing guys it's not them. It's just not them. But there is, O3 has a recovery behavior which isn't great. You got to be careful with it. Catching down on the chat. Mr. Varty. Thanks for RW, thanks for today. Can I ask, I may go for the Mavic 3 thermal drone, but I don't want to make the investment. Is there any rumblings about new improved? There's no rumblings about a new drone. No. There is no talk of new drones on the industrial side. Like 5 to 8 minutes. Yeah, there's definitely something weird with O3. I need to go back and look at the RF stuff again. I need to actually, no, I won't. I'll retest it all again. I'll put it back through the RF testing and see if I can understand it. I haven't started the Avatar 1 year later yet. I'm sorry, you don't get to know. Sorry, that's an inside joke for those who know. That lives on forever and ever. Now, it's probably the right time to talk about Avatar. Okay, so I've put a video out about Avatar HD yesterday, and this one has been a little bit controversial in some of the comments. And for those who haven't seen, let's find it. Let's see if I can actually have Avatar HD. Actually, I'm going to have to find my own channel to show you this. It is this video here, which is Avatar HD FPV system, 120 frames a second. Coming soon, or marketing BS. Now, just to be clear on this, I've spoke to Cadix about this a few times, and I still don't have common sense. So in the end, I got fed up with the questions, and I just thought I'm putting a video out about it because, I'll be honest, I think they're being a little bit deceptive. And if you go through all the marketing, I'm not going to go over this completely in this video. That marketing is intentionally saying this parts of this system do 120 frames, yet what they're not openly saying is the system is actually 100 frames a second. And I do think that they are intentionally being misleading towards users on this, and I think it should be changed. However, we are 12 months of the Avatar HD system, because if you remember, this time last year was Rampage, and Rampage has just happened, and that was when we had, you know, a lot of stuff. We had You Don't Get to Know, and you had, you know, all of this frankly bizarre stuff going on. Like, for those who remember, or those who don't remember, there was so much madness in that period. I'm gonna queue up a couple of bits from this video just because they are relevant and they are rather interesting, you know. And you know, it was a period where, you know, we had this stuff going on. You know, we had the guys out there at Rampage going, we've got this new system, but we can't tell you what it is. And then the Walksnail website went live the day Rotor Riot and Fat Shark was showing this off to users. So they were going, we've got these new goggles, but we can't tell you what the system is. And there was like this logo, which we hadn't really seen. And next minute, this Walksnail website pops up and then got taken down and then was put back up. And then it just, you know, started this and then the memes, and we all thought it was DJI. And then the goggles released and we all found this inside, which was the Vertex 5 FPGA, but it wasn't a bloody FPGA. They intentionally mislabeled this chipset so we could not tell what it was. And then we found out later what it actually was the Artisan AR90201. And today, when they ship these things, they're shipping them with a masked chipset top and not lying chipset top like they did originally. And it was a bizarre period. It was our silent partner, who doesn't want to be named, who then went on to put his website online. And then you had Drew. And hello, Drew, if you're ever watching this. I wish you all the best, mate. I think Drew is a great guy, for those who don't know. But then we had You Don't Get to Know, which is probably one of my most famous rants on this channel. I almost had a stroke in that live stream. For those who hadn't seen it, I'm actually tempted to play that one back. I am actually tempted, for those who hadn't seen it, for those of you who weren't here at the time, that was probably one of the biggest rants I have ever had on this channel. I literally lost my crap. It would take some finding, that one. It'd be a year ago. It would be a year ago from today. Shall we see if we can find that? So it will be a live. I'm going back on the lives. Oh, I've done a lot of live streams. So 11. Let's have a look. 11 months ago. Where is DJI FPV version 3? I'm trying to see. Why is... It's got to be one of these, isn't it? I tell you what I might have done, mind. I might have taken it offline and put it back up. That's 2 years ago. That's 11. HDZero. It's not that one. It's not that one. I'm gonna... Fat Shark, what a week. Is it this one? Oh, it could be. It could be. It could be this one. I can't actually. This is them in people's hands. It was pre-people's hands. I reckon I took it offline, so I'm gonna have to go back this way. Sorry about this. Arbor the Ham, how are you? It was the most bizarre thing. It really was. Dave, thank you for the super chat, mate. You're amazing. Let me go back and see if I can find it, because I probably took it offline and put it live as a... Because I used to do it a bit differently. I used to take the lives offline and then put them back up separately. There's the Carl interview. HDZero. What the hell? Oh, it could be this. Is it this? I'm just looking through if I can see the You Don't Get to Know. I will actually have to find... No, I can't find that live stream. Why can I not find that live stream, guys? That's shocking. That is... I'm shocked at that. That has got to be here somewhere. That has got to be here somewhere. What's weird is the gap. See, it can't be that one because that's the goggles in people's hands. That's weird. Where's those streams gone? I wonder if it was on the second channel. I wonder if it's on... That's weird. We don't get to see the rant. It's the video DJI or not. Is it? It's a video DJI or not. Let's have a look. So I'm scrolling down. So there. Oh, it might be pre-order warning. Buyer beware. The current facts. Oh, it could be this one. It could be this one. Searching the audio. I'm not sure what I'd search for. Now that's a recording, not a live. It was a live. I nearly had a stroke. I remember that. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. I tell you what it might be. It might be offline. Is what it might be. I wonder. I'm going to have to go into studio and see. Let me have a quick look. Sorry, guys. I know this doesn't make compelling content, but the rant is worth it. You need this in your life. I'm just wondering if I took it offline. And I posted a clip about it. May the 1st, 2022. That's interesting. Unlisted. Cool. A lot of the early streams are unlisted. I need to put them back up. Why are they offline? That's crazy. They're all unlisted. That's weird. I need to go and check that. Because there's some good stuff in them. So, it is either going to be this one, which I've got here. Maybe we... Oh, I got a feeling it's this. I really need to find that. All the DJI rants are unlisted, lol. Yeah. I can't remember how far in... I'm just skimming through a second, I am. Sorry about this. It's all about the DJI chipsets. I reckon it'll be the stream after that. I reckon it's the one after that. I'll try and find it in a minute, guys. It was worth it, that's for sure. It was a stonker. It was a stonker. It can only have been that one or this one. It can literally have only been one of those two. So let's just have a look at this one. Now I got to watch an advert again to just get past it. It's got to be that first one or this one. It has to be. It has to be. Surely there's a comment in here somewhere about the... Need that ruler. No, that's weird. I'm shocked it's not this one. I am astonished it's not this one. Shedding light on the situation. Oh, it's definitely this one. I can't say I've ever seen you ever this fired up. Don't have a stroke. I found the video, guys. Oh, you don't need to know. Found it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're there. Right, let's get ready for this. Okay. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Right, let me just see if I got desktop audio working. So, I'm going to unmute this, but have it quiet on my side. I'm going to mute my microphone so I can listen to this myself. Okay? Please be warned, this may not be pleasant. That's weird. You had no audio a sec, did you? That's weird. Okay. Give me a second then. Let me... So, if you guys check... Because I turned on desktop audio and it was showing my side. 2 seconds. So I'm just going to play it again. It's not DJI based. But the only thing I'll say is that... That's weird. Because I'm seeing it my side. That's weird. Why is... Oh. I think I know why. 2 seconds. Let me just do a quick change. I know what it is. Desktop audio. I think I know what it is. I'm going to mute now. We worked with DJI. So we either have or we haven't. Not this official. We either have or we haven't. Now, I understand they might not be able to say. And I've got no issues with that. Let me be clear. If they cannot say, that's fine. But what we've now got them is sort of denying it, whereas Walksnail saying no. So there's a bit of an in-between here, which is getting confusing. Now, then throw in a video that has been released by a person who is associated with Rotorite and Fat Shark. And again, I am not making this about the person. I don't want anything I'm about to say to be deemed as I'm going against that person. This comment is against the message that went out from a company, because I think the person is fantastic. However, that video, I felt, and I've put my post on this, was confrontational and almost blaming the community for asking questions. But more than that, saying, you don't need to know. Shut up, you don't need to know. Why are you asking these questions? You're not in the circle. You don't need to know about this. And that's the take I got from that video. I could be wrong, and other people, I would love to tell. If you've seen it, tell me what you think in the chat. But I took it as quite confrontational, that video. As, look, you lot are asking too many questions. But this is where my problem is, right? Okay, we have shady information. This system is one of 3 things. It's really simple. You either have a DJI-based system, but they can't tell us. And I understand that, and I'm happy with that. But then don't deny it's got DJI chipsets in, if that's the case. Number 2, it's a copy. Number 3, it's something new. My problem is here is Fat Shark
are asking users to pony up nearly $700 for a system that we have not seen fully working and not knowing what we're buying. Now, we don't have the right to be told, but we then also have the right to say, well, I'm not buying this, and that's fine, but don't come on and complain about us asking questions. The reality here is this, and this is quite blunt. Fat Shark have demonstrated a product in a closed environment with limited people being able to test it with, frankly, what we can see is an unfinished product, which...
It's going to come in a minute.
You're asking us to pony up $700 on and take it on your word it's going to be fine. And that's no. And here's some more questions. Okay, so you're asking us to pony up $700 and you'll deliver a great product. Okay, so number one, where's the money going? Number two, why? Why is a company the size of Fat Shark and Red Cat asking for the money up front? 3, if I want my money back in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, brilliant. Am I going to get it? Is that money that is being given to get FPV and all the dealers being handed over to Red Cat, Fat Shark, or is it staying with the dealers? Why are you asking for the full money up front? Number 4, why are Fat Shark asking for money when Walksnail, who opened up pre-orders, were asking for $1? Now, you can't tell me that Red Cat don't have the money to bankroll this now. So, I'm going to ask questions if you're going to ask us for $700 up front. It's that simple. And show us a product that isn't finished, isn't fully working, and you're asking us to buy it on a whim of it will be fine in 6 to 7 weeks, which you're going to ship it in July. So you might not be happy we're asking questions, but that is the reality when you are asking for $700 of money up front. And I know we don't have to give it to you. We don't have to buy this. But you are asking us to buy this, so we're going to ask you what's going on. And that's where I'm at with this. And that's why I'm a little bit frustrated and angry right now, because I'll be honest, that video wound me up. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It really did wind me up, because I just felt it was very much, you know what? You lot need to just accept it what it is. You lot need to just shut up and get on with it. I know you like to cause controversy. I know you like to wind people up, but you're causing problems, so just shut up and either buy it or don't. And that's how it came across to me. And it might not have been the intention, and again, it's not about the person. The person is amazing. The message was wrong. The message was wrong. So, that's where my head is at. That's why I am frankly now being a complete pain in the ass. Because I don't want to see anyone get ripped off. And I am not saying for 1 minute Fat Shark will. But look, this is what's been promised. A digital FPV system in 6 to 7 weeks' time, which rivals DJI. Yeah, what we've seen is a system which looks good. It's got all of the right ingredients. The goggles look fantastic. We all want it to be great, but it looks unfinished with bits that aren't working, with very limited flight time in a controlled environment, and you're asking us to give you $700 on the whim of it being ready. And I'm sorry, we're going to ask questions. Now, as for DJI, is this DJI's chipset? Is it not? In the end, that in many ways is not important, guys, okay? In my opinion, it being DJI would be a very, very good thing. It gives pedigree, it gives background, it gives solid stability to the system. And I completely understand they may
Sorry, I forgot. I thought the rant was more than that. I thought there was more to that rant than that. I'll be honest, I thought I'd lost my crap. No audio. It should be back. Are we not back? Am I back? I think I've unmuted everything. Am I unmuted everything? I should be back. It's back, yeah. I thought I lost my crap. That's weird. I need to cut that one out. I thought I lost my crap in that one. I thought I really lost my crap. Unless it's in another part. But, oh, stop. Get off. I thought I really lost my crap. But anyway, right, okay. What this really does is, look, the Avatar HD system. So, we're a year later. And look, let's be honest. The whole release of this thing has been marked with controversy, with lies, with misdirection, with hearsay, and frankly, blind, stupid comments from people who should know better, who were involved. But it is fair to say it's come on a lot. But where Avatar is today is interesting because regardless of if the system is perfect or not, and it isn't, it is really the only... It is probably the best freestyle option out there if you want a two-way system. Because it's really hard to recommend O3 because of the camera. It's really hard to say that O3 is good, but with the Vista and Air unit, because the supply of them is getting less and less. And I genuinely don't think you'll be getting them by the end of this year. And we could just be left with the O3 Air unit. And then you got HDZero, which people like, but people want more. People like, look, it's not perfect for everyone. And HDZero is a real good option. But it's actually a bit harder to recommend DJI now because O3 is an amazing product. But it's not ideal for general bando freestyle FPV. It just isn't. Having to spend $80 to $100 on a camera when you've just got a cracked lens is not the answer. And that has left a gap. And Cadex have filled that gap with Avatar. And whilst, look, their marketing has been shady, their overall behavior at the start is still shady. At least they're hiding the name on the chipset now, not lying about it. They get to hide it. We don't get to know everything, but when you're doing things like putting AMD's name on the top of it, who owns Xilinx, you're doing dodgy shit, But the reality is, Avatar today, 1 year later, is dramatically different than it was the day it released. And I had a lot of content on it, and I talked about the problems, and it isn't perfect. But I think it probably is one of the better options in digital right now over DJI. Cost is cheaper than O3. Goggles are decent. You've got a VRX unit. So there is only one other system that can compete with that is HDZero. And HDZero has got good benefits too. But I still see most pilots choose a two-way system over a one-way system for FPV. And it's hard to say not to buy Avatar, but I would still say that the marketing is bad. It isn't a product that is going to innovate. It is a copy product. It has been designed to be a copy product. It is an out-and-out copy. It was made that way. All of that controversy when it released, it's got to be DJI. All the menus are the same. Literally, how this would have worked was Cadex would have gone, gone to their engineer, right? And look, Cadex didn't make the system. The thing you have to understand with an Avatar is they bought in a chipset that allowed them to do what they're doing here. So they trawled the market for a chipset that would allow them to do what DJI did. They wanted a chipset that would allow them to replicate the DJI system, and that's what they found. But what they did was took this and go, look, we want you to make something that works like this. And that's why all of the naming in the menus was like the same. And actually, they changed some of that stuff later. But if you go back to the original release, it was designed to be a copy. And everything they've done is to be a copy and just make it better. But they haven't innovated. If we look at what Avatar has done, so they brought a DJI-style system with canvas mode because we all wanted canvas mode. That's not innovation. That's just bloody no-brainer. They added a VRX module because HDZero had added a VRX module and loads of people are going, I want a VRX module. So they did that. What they've done good, though, is giving a good options on their cameras. Avatar HD cameras today are phenomenal. Because, unless we remember, Cadex were really good at the cameras on DJI. They really, really were good at the cameras. But Cadex, question, Wind One, I can't quite see your name, but Cadex was making the Vista for DJI. No. DJI made the Vista. The Vista official name is Air Unit Lite. That was manufactured by DJI. That product is sold under other companies' names for one very good reason. Because it is not FCC certified. The Vista is not FCC certified, as far as anyone can tell. There is no FCC certification for the Vista, period. I don't believe the Vista is FCC legal. I have seen no evidence at all. I would even raise questions over some of the FCC certification of other non-DJI systems out there as well. And that isn't even by one manufacturer. So here's something interesting. Avatar and HDZero use the same FCC filing for all of their products. I don't mean the same between the two, but if you take HDZero, only one of their VTXs has been FCC certified. If you take, I think it's one. If you take Avatar's FCC doesn't quite look as I would expect either. If you look at DJI, DJI is 100% legal. Period. In between. But what the good thing with DJI is, we get to see what the FCC certification should look like. The DJI Air unit was FCC certified, correct. The Air unit was, but the Vista, no. And it is a dramatic hardware change that would require a recertification. Now, if you look at DJI, and look, here is how far DJI go with their recertification of products, okay? DJI have relisted certifications for the Mavic 3 Classic, the Mavic 3 Pro, the Cineon Standard. Those aircraft are, from an RF point of view, identical, okay? However, they still create an entire individual certification for each change. Every single one. But yes, we believe the reason the Vista was never sold because DJI probably couldn't get it through FCC because of noise interference, something like that. Because remember, it's decased. With unlock, none of them are legal. Correct. Correct. So from our point of view, here's an interesting question. So let's just imagine 2 systems were not legal. Does anyone actually care? No. However, what is complicated, and look, if you remember, I've brought this up before about Avatar HD, okay? Avatar HD launched without its FCC filings. There are now FCC filings for Avatar HD. However, there are a million different types of certification for a product. And I don't know, but it doesn't quite add up for me, the category it's been listed under. And I'm no expert and I could be wrong. But what I do know is it doesn't remotely look like DJI's. The amount of FCC certification testing DJI's have is incredible. Was the Vista a dramatic hardware change? Yeah, complete PCB redesign, case redesign. Its entire RF front end changed. That would require recertification. The Vista would absolutely require recertification. The entire RF front end changed. Eric Doyle has asked, do you think there would be an O3 Lite in the future? Not really. The O3 Air unit is an O3 Lite. It is as small as they could do today. What makes O3 is the additional chipset. Okay. It's not the camera. Does the bigger sensor help? Absolutely. However, what makes O3 is the additional chipset. If you want to see what O3 would look like without that chipset and what you'd have to do to make it smaller, it's a Vista. And a Vista on that O3 firmware. That is an O3 Lite. The Vista today is an O3 Lite. Now, could they make a Vista smaller? So could you make a single board Vista? The answer to that is yes, absolutely, because that is what Avatar HD is. If I go to repair.wiki, and for those who don't know, I upload quite a bit of stuff to repair.wiki, and this is a great place for us to have a look, because up here is all of the images of stuff that allows us to do a single board 1S O3 Lite. 1S is hard. If we just look at a minute, so if we look at the Air unit and Vista. Now, so that's the DJI Air unit, okay? That's the original Air unit. And then this is, where's the Vista? Here's the Vista here. Now, there is actually quite a bit of dead space on the Vista. Quite a bit of dead space. They could cram this down, and they did. You know, one of the big changes was with O3 was the repackaging of everything. But there are 2 things they can't change right now, and that is this chipset, this P1 chipset. If you see this up here, this layout has to be the same, right? P1 and memory. Now, this is the original Air unit, right? So this was as small as they got the Vista, okay? If we then look at O3, and we have a look at the sizing, O3 is incredibly well packaged. So if we look at what they did, the first thing they did on O3 to make it smaller is they packaged the SD card slot on top of the heatsink for the chipset. So the card adds vertical height, but no PCB space. This is a real ingenious space saving. So the SD card slot was put on top of the can to save space. Really ingenious. We then have this side of the board, one board, which is power. This is all power. The other side, we have the E3T, which is the additional chipset that we had to have that makes this O3. Okay? This is what gives us the recording. This is what gives us all of the benefits. You then have the RF front end, which they can't really make any smaller. And then you've got, again, the P1, and this time a smaller memory chip. And the reason it's a smaller chip is because they've offloaded the OS into this memory chip here. That's got ROM storage. That's a combined ROM-RAM chip. And that's next one is just RAM. So that's just RAM. So how do you make this smaller? Well, what you'd have to do is get rid of this chip. And if you get rid of that chip, you're basically left with a Vista, because that is exactly what this is at that point. It becomes a Vista. Now, could you repackage a Vista into a single board? I think they probably could today. I think they probably could. Could they make it 1S? Yes, but it is complicated, but they could make it 1S. Do I think DJI will do it? I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced. So you could make an O3 Lite without recording, without an SD card. Technically, you could do it without an SD card, but with onboard recording only. You could. But will DJI retool for that? I don't know. I can't answer that question. I just don't know. I'm just going to catch up on the chat on this. Oh my God, my chat is well behind. 1 second, it's just got up. Flying O3 and O2 my buddy. Does AVI Physics, does O3 frequency hopping avoid broadcasts where it would interfere with other systems? Yes, O3 will avoid other systems like HDZero and Avatar. It will absolutely move around them. It's hard to know what they'll do. Can they do it? Yes, because Avatar have. You know, Avatar is a one-board Vista. It's basically a one-board Vista. It's the same situation. If we actually look at Avatar, it's a one-board Vista. It has a very similar chipset setup. So Avatar VTX is. So if we look at the Avatar HD, if we look at their Whoop board, what you've got is basically the same situation. So you've got their main chipset, which is actually bigger than DJI's. It takes up a bit more space. And what they've then done is put power on this side and then flipped the RAM-ROM chip on the other side of the board. The only thing DJI could do, and this would be very cool, I've never seen them do this, is if they did stacking. So if they stack the memory on top of the P1, they could do that. There's definitely stuff they could do. But you could get a Vista down to a single board. You could definitely do it. Now, I was talking about Avatar before I got onto that. So, in the end, Avatar, 12 months later, genuinely, I think it is a very viable option, but I do hope Caddx continue to improve it. We want to see the focus mode finished. I have a feeling we will see something new from them maybe in the next 2-3 months. I don't know nothing, but I think you're going to see some form of O3 competitor to it. And I don't mean a new system. I just mean a VTX with a better camera, better recording. I know they've improved things with the V2 VTX, but I think you might see a bit of a hybrid come from them, such as like the Walnut and their VTX all in one. West Michigan areas, obviously heat is good. Heat, yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Heat is going to be the main problem in all of this stuff. Everyone's yawning as I did. I know. It's late. As always. But, yeah, it's a year later, and I am going to do a proper video on it. I am going to do a proper video on the year later and where it's come. But we should also not forget the shenanigans at the start. We should not forget all of this misdirection, let's just say. But what we can't do is knock them for the development this year, because they've done a good job, to be fair. Where do people with the VRXs go? Them digital VTXs need tiny fans. Tom T, where do the people with VRXs go? I want long-term solution. I mean the Walksnail VRX. Snail O3. Snail form of... I wouldn't be shocked to see a bit of an all-in-one. I wouldn't. Now, there is one other thing I want to quickly mention before I just move on to questions, and I'm going to put it out there now that if you do have any questions or anything, please do put them in the chat and we'll answer them. We have two things I want to mention from Foxeer because they are related for FPV. So, we have, obviously, the Foxeer DJI equivalent VTX. Okay, so Foxeer, not DJI, the Foxeer HDZero VTX has finally released. Okay, so they have their HDZero board, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before. If I search for HDZero, there it is. They finally have started to ship their 200 milliwatt VTX for HDZero. The good thing is it's a slightly better layout, and what they have done is moved a lot more of the components inboard, so it should be better. It looks the same, but it actually isn't. It's a better design. Genuinely, if you look at the images, they've moved a lot of the stuff. If you look, right, and it is easy to overlook this, but they have moved a lot of the stuff inboard. So if you look around here and look around here, less components around the edges. Yes, you got this connector and then you got the diode here, but overall, it looks better. Yeah, proximity to the PA is closer. You can see a much shorter run. On the Race V2, it is a real long one because HDZero had like the PA over here and it coming across and you had that long track. I'm also hoping that the quality of the PCB is better than the HDZero ones. I'll be honest, and I can openly say this, I've repaired so many HDZero VTXs. The boards are like cheese. The tracks just lift on the boards. The quality of the PCB is not the best in HDZero. Now, I'm not saying that others are much better, but they do seem to peel like hell, those boards. You see with the UFL lifts, you see with the copper tracks lift, it just doesn't hold up as well. It just doesn't. And there is another product from Foxeer, which is frankly insane. And let's see if it is listed on their website, because I'm not sure if it is. I've seen a picture of it. No, it isn't. It's not there. So, Foxeer on Facebook. And I'm going to get on to my Discord for this, because it has been shown on my Discord. For those who don't know, I do have a Discord server. It is free to join. And it is this thing. It is a 5-watt analog VTX. This thing is an absolute monster. 5 watts of RF power. Now, I'm probably going to order one of these in. I want to put this on the spectrum analyzer. I want to have a look at how this looks. That is some power. AVI Physics, 5-watt analog VGX with cooling makes me think hard about analog until you look at the image quality. I've got one of the best cameras here you can have in analog. 100% illegal in most countries. I think you'd probably find it's 100% illegal in every country. But, yeah, that's a monster. That is an absolute monster. It's, that be a beast. I'd be really interested to see how that looks on the spectrum analyzer. Though, wouldn't it make sense to drop to 1.3 gigs for long range? Yes, 1.3 is much better, but you're dealing with the bloody antennas then. You're dealing with the antenna. 1.3 is just... I've played with 1.3 a bit. 2.4 video, not so much, but I did do 1.3. It's just hard work. It's just the bloody antennas. Everything's just so big. You can use that to make friends with your local ham radio guys. You know, when you start looking at 1.3 gig antennas, if we go to True RC, and if we go to antennas, if we look at the 1.3 stuff, right, what's he got in the 1.3? So transmitter, look, he's got some nice stuff. Prices are pretty good on them too. So you got these Singularity 1280 V2s blacks. They look interesting. They definitely look interesting. And then if we... and you start thinking about receiver ultra range. And look, that doesn't look that big until you realize how big that antenna actually is. Is there a picture? I don't know. Is there a picture of that on something? If we just have a look. Is there a picture of that? Yeah. When you actually see the physical size of it on something, you suddenly realize, like, oh yeah, that's vast showing it. I don't... Is there a... They are big. Let's just say they are very, very big. Let me just mute that. And let's just see, does this show this as an actual size? Is there anything showing the ground station? No. So there's no actual view of the ground station. That's disappointing. But yeah, these antennas are huge. Showed the size right at the top. Let's have a look. Dimensions are... yeah, if we look at the dimensions. So 360 mil, 36 centimeters by 36 centimeters. It's a foot. It's a foot square. Fourth picture along. Is there four, is there? I'm only seeing two. I've only got two pictures. But yeah, it's a foot square. It's big. In the images tab. Oh, is there an images tab? Is there right there? Additional information. Where's the images tab? I haven't got an images tab. Oh, you talking along the... oh, Google Images. Sorry. So if I go images. Oh, yeah, there it is. I missed that. There you go. There we go. Found it. That gives you an idea of how big that antenna is. I want to see that on a set of goggles, please. Yeah, it's a foot. That looks photoshopped. Oh, he's a man with very, very small hands. That's a hell of an antenna. That's your challenge? Or small hands? Yeah. Yeah, that just tells you how big they are. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, guys. So that's all the subjects I had in for tonight. So I'm going to just come over to the chat. I'm a bit disappointed in my rant earlier. I thought who else have I let go on? I'm a bit disappointed in my rant earlier. I thought it was more than that. I need to go back and look at that. So, if you've got any questions, please do put them in the chat. I will try and answer them. That much power will make your car stereo speakers pop like an XL phone used to it. Yeah. Yeah, 5 watts is a lot of power. A lot of power. To the moon. Look, there'll be people who get a lot of benefit. Thank you. Hiya, Dave. Thank you. And I want to say, what's up? Thank you for the £5, $4.99 per £5 super chat, mate. I really appreciate it. For those who don't know Dave, he's a huge supporter of the channel. He's just, every week he comes in and donates a super chat. I really do appreciate it, mate. I really do. Super chats are welcome. They're not required for me to answer a question. I will answer a question without a super chat. And that's not a dig at anyone. Please don't. Someone said something on one of my live streams last week about, it's nice to see someone answering super chat, answering questions without requiring a super chat. Look, other people have to do what they feel is right. I will only do what I feel is right. It's never, anything I say is never a dig at anyone else. I just do my thing. I'm not Bardwell. I'm not anyone else. But there was just a couple of interesting comments where someone just said it was nice to see someone. I'll always answer a question if I can. Ian FPV, Mad, one question. Ex-DJI employees at Cadix working on Avatar. We don't know. We don't know. Genuinely, we don't know. What is interesting is whoever it was went out of their way to find a chipset that was really similar to DJI's. So they knew a lot, an awful lot. Are you now affiliating the Bamboo Labs printer? I do have an affiliate link for the Bamboo Labs printer. It is actually in the review. It was added afterwards. I don't usually use affiliate links, but there is one on that. All those links are on my Discord server as well. I don't publish affiliate links generally. The only companies I do use affiliate links with is Radiomaster because they are an amazing company. And I have got one there with the Bamboo as a trial because I don't generally make dedicated 3D printing content. I am aiming on getting my hands on a K1. I'm trying. I am talking to Creality about that fact. It isn't going to be anytime soon. What I would say to anyone is this: in my world, look, don't look at a K1 yet. That product is untested, unknown, and we do not know what it is really like. Wait for it to actually release, and let's see the real world 1-2 months later. Because what's worrying is the amount of issues on the new K1 that KOLs have had with the very small number of them that's been sent. I would absolutely say that product is a beta product today. But there is an affiliate link to the Bamboo in the Bamboo review. Resin 3D Flex. I do have flexible resin here. But yeah, the Bamboo is phenomenal. You know, for those who haven't, it's there. It is truly phenomenal. It's not printed today. It's not printed for a few days. I've given it a bit of a rest. It had a hammering for a month. An absolute hammer. I have never tested a printer as hard as I tested that. Genuinely. I put that through so much, it was crazy. I have never pushed a printer as hard as I've pushed that. Because I wanted to be sure before I did the review. I'm finishing up probably tomorrow the review on the Sidewinder X2. It's a nice printer, but it's a printer that comes with a bucket load of issues in the sense of it's like going back 4 years. It's really touchy on bed level. It prints very nicely when you get it right. But what you miss is you really miss the auto bed leveling stuff now. And look, there's some annoyances like the Z-axis adjustment is not small enough to get it just right. So I'm either squeezing in too much to the bed and you get an elephant's foot, or it won't stick. You know, and look, could I put down glue and try it with glue? Probably. But that's more than I want to do today. I have tried lac, 3D lac. I'm a big fan of 3D lac. But yeah, the Sidewinder is a nice printer. For the money, I think it's a nice printer. But it is like going back in time with the issues. You know, that thing, just hit the button and it works predominantly. So, yeah. Thanks for phrasing. Thanks so much for phrasing. Praising or phrasing? Can't remember what I did. Give it a thrashing and a hammering. Yes. Thoughts on the S1? The Creality S1. I have a review on it on the channel. It's a okay printer. It is okay for the money. Here's interesting. So if we talk about the Creality S1 versus the Sidewinder, what's the pricing like today? Someone asked about DJI V2s. I'm selling V2s. I think they're a good choice if to. I just got an Ender 3 S1 Pro and it's been great. Yeah, it's not a bad printer. It's on sale. It's about. Where is it price-wise compared to the Sidewinder X2? Because it starts getting interesting. I would still go with the S1 removable bed, probably. The S1 is a good printer. I can't complain. My S1, what I would say about the S1 is it takes some tuning. Like when I got my S1, like the axes were a bit loose out the box. S1 199. Wow. Yeah, that's a bloody deal. Yeah, Tom T, bed leveling is a nightmare. If you think it's bad on the S1, you want to try the Sidewinder. It's even worse. Anyone running the new Soval? No. I tell you who has reached out to me, and I haven't decided what to do, and that is Anker. The Ankermate M5. They have asked if I'm interested in doing a review. It's not a cheap printer, but it does have some interesting features. My next printer is the Bamboo. Yeah, look, the Bamboo just works. That's the real thing. I'm not saying, look, you won't have issues. I think people do get issues. You'll get issues with any printing. But I am also a bit about working with Anker based on the issues that they've had with Rep and their out-and-out dishonest behaviour around their cameras filming in people's homes. But it also is quite an interesting printer. The Creality S1 and the S1 Pro is... the S1 is a good printer. It prints TPU really well. If it's $199, that is a no-brainer. A no-brainer. What I would say, though... Oh, and Creality have also offered the S5. Is it the S5? You could print lens caps with their printer to cover their cameras. You could. That would be a gag, wouldn't it? That would be an amusing gag. If we go on Creality, the Ender 5 S1, they have asked about that, if I'm interested in seeing that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's an interesting printer. But I think the S1 and K1 are as interesting, if not more interesting. That is a big printer. Looks like a pressure washer. If we go on the Creality store, what are they charging for the S1 Pro? $389. S1 Plus $479. Oh, thank you, Cool Cat. I do appreciate it. There's a lot of good print. I tell you something, and this is a genuine thing. What I've learned about 3D printers is this. Make a review about 3D printers, and 30 other 3D printing companies reach out and go, they're like birds wanting food. And it's like, come on, talk about our printer, talk about our printer, talk about our printer. We send you our printer, we send you our printer. I am not, and look, this is not KOL flexing. No, I am no shitting you here. I could have probably gained another 10 printers in the last 2 weeks if I wanted it. It's madness. How many companies reach out in 3D printing? There are companies everywhere in 3D printing. They're just all just trying to get you to have their product. It's madness. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What I do absolutely want to review is the K1. Absolutely want to review the K1. And I'm trying to decide on this S5. It's intriguing. It really is. Yeah. Madness. The 3D printing world is just... There are so many Chinese companies spitting out printers. First world YouTuber problems. So, you know, yeah, but what the point I sort of want to make on that is it's interesting just how many 3D printing companies are out there you don't even really see. You know, I didn't even know Anker made a 3D printer. You've got Anker, you've got all of these companies banging out these 3D printers, and a lot of them are largely, and I say no to, you know, most of them because I said yes to the Sidewinder because it's interesting. It's a cheap printer, and I think it has a lot to offer. I think The Creality stuff is fairly well known and renowned. And look, I do a fair amount of 3D printing. And I do like talking, you know, I've used 3D printers a very, very long time. Not from the beginning, but I have used them for a very long time. But I am giving one away to a good cause. I'm intrigued on the Prusa. I tell you what had surprised me, and this will probably be the last thing I talk about, actually. So if there's any questions, put them in the chat now before we wrap up at the top of the hour. I was surprised how far off the Prusa Mark IV still is. I thought that, I'll be honest, I've been following the launch, but not that closely. And I did not quite realise that it's going to be end of the year before anyone really gets a Mark IV that's fully working. You know, a lot of the features are not there yet. They're still working on them. I think it's going to be a while. I talked about Avatar earlier, James. And we ended up moving into DJI. And then back into Avatar. I know, no, I haven't. The plan is tomorrow. I've been ill. I've not been very well. So, yeah, the batteries are charged tomorrow. I haven't flown for a few weeks. Varying reasons. Health, work, life, family. I need some stick time, big style. I'm well out of practice. Look, and there's also another problem. I'm struggling on flight locations at the minute. There's been some changes of where I usually fly, and that's caused me some problems too. I need to find a new flight location as well. I need a new testing location, unfortunately. But it's there. It's on the bag. It's ready to go. And look. This isn't a chat, and actually, yeah, this is probably the last thing I'll say, actually. I had a load of comments on the last few videos, like, why don't you ever show any flight? Why don't you just, you know, do you ever fly? And it's like, I do fly. I haven't flown as much as I would have liked, actually, this year so far, but I do fly. But I don't really post flight footage for many, many reasons. I don't want to give anyone a reason to find a reason. I try not to post too much. I'm not a great pilot. I'm not, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm not. I can fly a wing, I can fly a plane, I can fly a boat, I can fly a quad, I can Pixhawk, I can build them. Like, I'm a technical person. I love flying. Not a great FPV pilot. If you want me to sit there and do some flips, can I do some rolls? Yes. Can I do the juicy shit? Probably, if I spend enough time trying it. What I would love is... I would love to have like what JB's got in his garden. You know, JB's got that nice stand. That's the. I look. If I look, there are many. I'm not Bot Grinder. You know, Andy RC, Curry Kitten, all of these guys. You know, not. Mike Berman could do juicy shit. I can. It's really easy. Everything is practice, right? Everything is practice. It's really that simple. Yeah, there's plenty of places I can fly down here, but it ends up the beaches and things like that. What I've lost is my dedicated flight field, which I had. And look, there was a place where I flew a lot, which is a public place, but it's legal and everything. But it's basically been taken over by dog walkers to the stage of there's now like groups of people with like 15 to 20 dogs turning up at the same time. I don't know if it's like a dog walking club, a bunch of people who've got together or that. But what I've noticed is it's become almost impossible to fly there outside of certain times of the day when I'm not always able to do it. and that has heavily restricted me. I can do the beach stuff, but then I'm restricted on tides. It's long range stuff is fine, but what I like is a square. I like a field that I can fly at regularly for testing. Like the test field, I can still use where I go, and I know it inside out, so I know exactly where DJI will start to break up. I know exactly where Avatar HD lets go at that place. It's like I can put a quad in the air and go like, and you've seen those places in the videos, and I can go around the trees there, and I know exactly what the systems will behave like. Not the, oh my God, this one gives me 2% more range, but I know how DJI will perform Avatar HDZero. I have a good understanding, but it's a public place, it's a public field, it's fine. But yeah, it has suddenly become a big dog walking area, and what like happens is you can be flying and fucking 20 dogs appear out of nowhere, and it's like it's impossible to be safe and legal fully at that point. And we're not talking like, oh, there's a long walk and you can see them coming. There are places there where it just comes trees into the open area and boom, there are people. You know, and it's like, Jesus, fucking 20 dogs have appeared in the field. So that has been a problem. And to give you an idea, I had a video planned, which I binned in the end. I went down there, it was empty. I was like, brilliant. I need like 15 minutes of flight time. It's all I wanted was 15 minutes of flight time. And I got there, I got set up, the battery was on the quad. I literally armed, and I looked across, and my spotter said to me, wait a minute, I think the dog walkers are here. I waited for an hour and a half there. I just sat there, powered down, waited. People just kept coming and going. I just gave up. It's just like, I can't do this. And I'll be honest, that was like 2-3 weeks ago. And I've not flown since. It pissed me off so much. So I'm going to try and I'm at the stage of trying to figure out if I can rent a field. I need somewhere very specific for testing purposes for the channel, because I need to be able to put an aircraft in there like JB does. You know, you need a location that you can replicate stuff. You can't just go random all of the time for testing. It doesn't work. You need somewhere that you can go to and thing. And here's the worst thing, right? And this is Mike Bergman's words, or they don't give a shit either. People are annoyed. I can be throwing a quad around the middle of a field, right? We all know how loud a 5-inch can be, and they will walk underneath it. They will literally walk underneath it. I'm just like, out of nowhere, they will just come across the field and go and stand in the middle of it under the quad. And you're like, really? Just catching up on the chat. Wes said, yeah, it sucks to be looking for a vacation. I can relate to that. It's hard finding a really good go-to spot. I really like flying with my non-F. Yeah, I don't like anyone around. I don't want no one there at all other than me, my kids, my spotter, my family. Just fly. They'll soon. They don't. That's the problem. They just don't. They just keep coming. And you know the worst thing is, there's fucking dog shit everywhere because people don't pick up their own dog's mess. It's wrong. Yeah, you got to be careful. And they also have a habit, Mike, of running up to your gear and trying to pee on it. So I've got your backpack on the floor and a dog walks up and kicks his leg. I had that happen once as well. It's a fucking nightmare. The dog walkers are coming. When I fly, 20 hot babes appear. Such is the power of FPV goggles. They are such a click magnet. That will get them out the way. Lol, a dog bit my tiny whoop one time. I have a spot with a tower and moving metal sculptures 10 minutes away. You lucky sod. Look, I'm lucky. I live in a very rural area. If you want me to just do big, long wing flights, I'm a winner, right? I can win. But when I'm testing 5-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch, I need a decent location. Wes said, don't you have a modeller's field nearby that are quite quad friendly? No, categorically not quad friendly. End of. Not remotely quad friendly. That's why I would prefer cats, prefer get a big dog. Yeah. Perhaps you should turn the tables and report them to the council for not picking up the dog. Yeah, it's just thing is. Fly Tribe magazine. Now this is interesting, and I didn't talk about that tonight, and I meant to, and I forgot. Now I need to do that next week. And I'm going to bolt it on the end of this because they've just donated $20 super chat. So they've paid for some advertising, but I was genuinely going to talk about this. And I saw this on Joshua Bardwell's stream because I do watch JB. I watch him to see what content I can make. No, I don't. I don't before anyone says it. I enjoy watching JB stream. But Fly Tribe magazine. Now, this is something from the past. But from what I saw, this looked phenomenal for those who haven't seen it. And I'm going to shill it. I need a link. You're going to have to give me a link now, Fly Tribe. I need a link. Right, so what I'm going to have to do is make Fly Tribe a moderator so we can post a link. Add as a moderator. If I go for a standard... can he... I'm going to put him as a mod to see if he can post a link. Can you post a link? I don't know if you can, but you're gonna get a thing from me. And I meant to talk about this because I completely forgot. And I saw this on JB's stream, and I don't know. Like, if I search YouTube, will it come up? Google, I mean. Yes, it does. Here we go. Fly Tribe, and it was mentioned on JB's stream. And I'm gonna do a Pavel. Because I'm going to cut this. So I'm going to start again. Let me move some stuff. Sorry, guys. You're going to get a live recording of a piece that's going to go out on the channel. Because I need to do this. Because I meant to. What am I going to say? Okay, let me figure it. Now you're going to see me make this stuff up as I go along. Right. What can I open with? There is something that... I hit the bloody mic. Right, we're going to have to start again. One more. There is something that has launched in the last few weeks, which is probably one of the rarest things that we've seen for quite some time, and that is a print magazine. But it is more than that. It is a print magazine that is dedicated to FPV, and it is called Fly Tribe. Now, if I just hop over to the desktop and take you to the website, it has just been released. Its first issue is available to get now. And frankly, when I first saw this shown on JB's channel, he showed it in his live stream, it looked absolutely phenomenal. Now, there is a digital version of this that you can see on there as well, I believe. The May digital release is here, and this gives you a look at what it actually looks like. And look, this book just looks phenomenal. It really does, because not only is it, this is a color print magazine. When was the last time we had a color print magazine for anything, let alone something that is dedicated to the sport or the hobby that we love, which is FPV? And look, the images on this are phenomenal. I was looking at the photography, and I am a guy who, I'm not a photographer, but the images in this are just stunning. The shots, the overall color, everything that they've done on this just looks phenomenal. Look, I want to be that guy. Just look at that guy. Who does not want to be that guy? I also noticed this. Is this not the location as well that the Rotor Riot video was... the Fat Shark Dominator video is filmed at? I'm sure that looks like the same location. I could be wrong, but it does look like that place as well. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to look that guy. But yeah, that guy I want to look like. That guy looks phenomenal. But it looks like that location. And look, it shows you the contents of the magazine here. And look, it's just a beautifully put together. And that is the term I want to use. It's really nicely done. Beautifully put together. Great images. And it's just putting our hobby, our sport in a different light. And you just don't see stuff like this. You really, really don't. So, look, I strongly suggest checking it out. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to do that. You need to go and get it for yourself, okay? The link to this will be in the description of this video. It's called Fly Tribe. Digital first issue is out now. You can register. Please go do so. Please go support them, because this kind of stuff doesn't come along very often. And to have our hobby in something like this is just amazing as well. And a big, outstanding well done to that, because it looks phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. Hopefully that made sense. That was all off the top of my head, so I had to try and figure out what I was going to say as I went along. I might just re-record it and do it properly. It looks amazing. It genuinely looks amazing. Yeah, it's a good rag. You don't see rag anymore. Is there a page 3? The British guys will know what I'm talking about there. Is there Candice from Essex? Yeah. She studies law and social economics. Because that's the way these things always went. But Bot Grinder's on page 3. Please, look, if Bot Grinder had his tackle out on page 3, if you get Bot to get his tackle out on page 3, that will be the pinnacle. Shirt cocking it. If we can get Bot Grinder shirt cocking it on page 3, that's what we need. And no offense to the guy I said I didn't want to be. That was just me putting in a bit of a joke. I don't want to upset someone. It's a newspaper, topless models. Yeah, definitely. Right, I'm just going to catch up on the chat. He looks like a chick. Yeah, that guy. No, I did. Please don't accept. I don't want to upset anyone. Yeah, it looks genuine. It genuinely looks lovely. Improv. Definitely improv. Definitely improv. JB's already halfway through shirtless thumbnail. I don't think I need to see JB naked. I probably won't. That's an image I'm not sure I want burned in my head. JB, yeah. Look, genuinely off that bit. I don't know how that came across. I might need to recut it. I need to rewatch that, and I'm gonna cut it. I might just redo it, but it looks phenomenal. This book, flytribemagazine.com. It does just look. Let me just go. Look at these images. The photography is outstanding. The photography is absolutely outstanding. I like the color grade as well. It's got a real dark feel to the color grade. It's got, it's quite contrasty, but I don't know what LUTs they're using or what grey color. But it's a real nice tone to it. Look at that quad. That's a beast. Look at that. That's a great image. Talking about flight controllers here. Look at that. Wow, I need to write something for this. It's just phenomenal. Glossy pages. Absolutely phenomenal. Mr. Bot Grinder himself. That man is an absolute legend. He really, really is. That guy just... I see an FPV lady. Always good. But he's just an absolute... See, look at that location. That location is awesome. We just don't have that stuff abandoned here. That's the real frustration where I am. It's like nothing. It's just nothing like that abandoned around here. I have got one place, but it's bloody locked up. I can't get to it. It's completely locked up. It's just, this is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely. A centerfold FPV poster would be awesome. That is an amazing idea. That is an amazing idea. Just so nicely done. No problem, mate. I'll pick it up after I finish on the stream. No problem at all. That looks, that is it's wow. I'm still not seeing pictures of Bot Grinder shirt cocking it. Just looks, look at that. Look at that. The photography is, what caught me was the photography. The photography is phenomenal. The photography just is phenomenal. It's so well done. Look at that. What an image. What an image. Look at that. That is phenomenal. I am blown away. I am honestly blown away. This is just beautiful. Man. See, it's now and again you just see this level of talent on people. It just catches you out sometimes. It really does. I see the ladies working on the gear. Yeah, look, that's beautiful. Yeah, Bot Grinder. Look at the man himself. I believe Bot's had a hand in this, hasn't he? I don't know the ins and outs of everything. I'm not fully aware. I believe the man is... I don't know. We need to find out more. But yeah, look, some of that image, the image, the photography is just phenomenal. Yeah, but I thought he was. I had a thing, but I need to find out more properly. But no, I'd seen it on JB's, and I was like, oh wow, that is phenomenal. And I'd had a flick through, but I hadn't gone all the way through. That's just blown me away. It really has. Just we need to find out. It's available. Is it? How many copies are available in print? How do we get this in print? Because I need to add to that because I didn't talk about print. Bot does a lot of photography. Yeah, he's very talented. JB's got the print there. I don't know how many copies are done. We'll have a proper chat and I'll find out. I think what I'll do, that live won't cover it. I need to have a proper chat. A few left that will be given away soon. Cool. That's what we need to find out. But things like this don't come along very often, and you gotta. I remember, there are people who are into like the Marvel mags and all of this, and like stuff like this is like really precious. You want to collect this stuff. You want to enjoy it. Look, I'm a person that like enjoys artwork, and I'll just show you something before I finish up this stream. I own an original of this, right? For those. I am a bit of an old grumpy git, as you can probably tell from the stream, but I also own, and look, this is me being very old now, but look, I own an original of Captain Fantastic by Elton John, and the reason I have an original is because the artwork in this vinyl, you guys probably can't see it because it's reflecting off the light, but the artwork in this is unbelievable. For those who don't know, the original versions of this came with a huge book and it had artwork, and there's a poster in it as well, and I just love stuff like this because you have the artwork, you have stuff like this doesn't exist anymore. It really doesn't. There's a poster in here somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. I haven't looked in it in a while, but you just don't get stuff like this anymore. It just doesn't exist. This kind of stuff with artwork, that's the original poster on it that came with it. This one is in very good nick, and look, these aren't collectible really that much, but what they are is super interesting, and things like magazines like that they're just beautiful mementos. You just can't get stuff like that anymore, and it's great to collect that stuff. And if you can get, if there's going to be, I don't know how many copies, but if you can start collecting them and owning a copy of every one, there'll just be something to have in the future. There's something to enjoy now, but they're also something to have in the future as well. And look, whether you're supporting the project because you want to own the magazine and read the magazine, or whether you want to collect it, it's worth doing both, because you don't get these things very often. I'm just gonna put this back before I finish. I need to tidy this garage. It's a mess. Right. It's time to wrap this one up. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been on the stream tonight. I didn't start with a lot, and we've ended up going a lot longer than we usually do, but it's a bank holiday here in the UK. I'm not working tomorrow, so it's fine. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who donated on the Super Chats as well. They are massively appreciated. We cannot do what we do without the Super Chats, but more than that, the Patreons. I want to say a huge, huge thank you to the Patreons. This channel would not exist without the Patreons I have, period. It would not be possible. End of. No in between. And anyone who is a Patreon, I have a Discord server. For those who don't know, you are more than welcome to join. You do not have to be a Patreon to join the Discord server. It's a bit of a laugh. I am there. Someone actually said on there the other day, which is interesting, is it's nice to see you actually post on your own Discord server. I do. I post regularly. I haven't been as busy this week as I usually am. I'm there. You'll get a bit more looser me on there. I might even tell you to fuck off. which I do sometimes, not in a nasty way, but yeah, I look, you get a bit more of me on the Discord as well. And there's some amazing people on the Discord. I'm really lucky to have some phenomenal members who know their stuff, and we can all have a good chat about the world we live in. We talk a bit about 3D printers, we talk a bit about life, we talk a bit about everything. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, there's a link to that there should be a link to that in the description as well. Anyways, that's it from me on this one. Stay safe, look after yourself. We should be back same time, same place next week. Thank you for spending some time with me. And now I got to try and gracefully end a live stream. There is no graceful way to end a live stream. That was the one thing I've learned. But anyway, you got a button you got to press twice. Look after yourselves. Back same time, same place next week. I'll speak to you soon.